All right, so this is the Halloween edition.
Halloween a dish.
A dish, even though it's not even close to Halloween.
Welcome to Tales from a Script. We're gonna read Paul's first ever film script.
We should do that. I want to do.
Dude, if we could have a table reading of a fucking.
I got my Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali versus Rocky. I could play all the extra parts. We just need people to play BruceLee, Rocky, and Muhammad Ali.
Oh, I'll definitely play Bruce Lee.
I'll play all the other parts.
I'll do Bruce Lee. I don't have a career.
Dude, he's the guy that comes out looking the coolest.
Oh, of course, it's Bruce Lee. He's a pretty cool guy. Do you think that, what is that movie? La La Land that kind of depicted him like an asshole?
Oh, no, that was,
Or Adventures in Hollywood?
Yeah, but I think that was necessary. That somebody needed not be, that guy needed, I mean, he's not God.
No.
I mean, he can't break his balls. I think it took a lot of guts to do that.
I think the director just found out that video of him playing ping pong with nunchucks was fake,
exactly.
And he was just like, no.
I got mad. When I saw that, I was like, yes, right on. Finally, someone fucking knocked him down a peg.
He did come off
so
rather
now he's
pretentious,
3'5",
but apparently he's a nice guy.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, I didn't know. The JKD was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had a buddy back home super into the Jeet Kune Do or whatever it is.
Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do, the way of the dragon.
He could stand outside in like the coldest weather with just a t-shirt and like not even shaking. I'd be like, how are you doing this? He was like, something I read in the JKD. You just envision you're inhaling smoke and letting it warm your lungs and the rest of your body, and then you exhale it and all this shit. And like, I mean, I don't know if he was bullshitting and he just had a really good threshold for being cold, but I mean, he was from Somerville. Like he didn't have like more experience with severe cold, but he could just stand out there with a t-shirt on and be fine.
That's pretty cool. All right, so this is Vaush. I just was always annoyed by that biopic of Bruce Lee because it was like an action film. He would be like working at a restaurant, suddenly fight like 9 guys, and you're like, why?
I bought that thinking it was just a kung fu movie, and because it also
was a kung fu movie.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I was like, wait a minute, what is going on?
Fighting ghosts and shit.
It was like, have you ever watched what's it called? It's on that Tiny Creatures. It's kind of like Planet Earth, but they set up little situations for the animals to get in. Like one is like a snake is slowly crawling through the plumbing to get to a mouse in a house to kill it, and it's like some of it is CGI. It's all set up. They're kind of putting like innocent animals in danger for a commentary. It's really bad. Like, it's really bad. It's almost as bad as the Great American Bible Challenge, but not as. That's a Bible trivia show that's on Netflix. We should watch that one day.
Yeah, we will.
All right, here we go.
Hugo will be here in 2 weeks. So this is Vaush talking about comedy, or Vaush. It might be Vaush, like, gosh.
Yeah, I always read it.
Oh, God. That's racist to New Yorkers? Nice, good. I'm happy to be racist to New Yorkers. Reactionaries can't be funny because they can't stop being angry. Dude, reactionaries can't be funny because reactionaries' entire personalities gets consumed by hatred and fear of the people they don't like. It's like J.K. Rowling, dude. J.K. Rowling was never, like, a particularly interesting individual, but her entire personality has been consumed by her valiant crusade to defend cisgender women against these...
J.K. Rowling was pretty hot.
Oh, okay.
That's the extent of my opinion on J.K. Rowling.
Okay, so he's bringing up that J.K. Rowling hates trans people.
Well, what he talks about comedy.
Because it
And
would
so
be really funny
we're comics, so I just wanted
if he was fluffing up J.K. Rowling, even though she's like openly like
I'd fluff J.K. Rowling.
Really does not like trans or lesbian people.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. The meat of it is a little
really
later.
Bad.
Hey, but go on. We'll get to it because he doesn't annoy me that
the
much.
Statistically unlikely possibility that there will be any increase in violence against them if we allow trans people to feel good about themselves.
But she's not a comic. So I don't even know why he's bringing her up.
Yeah, that's a good point to talk about. Yeah, that's a really good point that I didn't even think about. Like, she's not.
In fact, there's probably a lot of fat in this. No pun intended.
Hey, if you don't know who Vaush is, he's like,
nerd.
What politic? Because he's mostly around politics, right?
No, he's a lefty, but what I like about him is he's not. He didn't like when Bernie didn't get the nomination. He didn't fucking take his ball and go home like a pussy. Like he's still in the game, and a lot of people they're making a lot of money off of Bernie or bust bullshit, and they're damaging. It's a big fucking mistake to not vote. This is the first time I actually Googled judges. This is the first time I voted for judges.
I always vote Simon.
It's like, if Judge Judy isn't on the fucking list, I don't know shit.
If I'm going to vote for a judge, they have to have the first or last name of an American Idol judge.
I voted for a chick who refused to take
Katy, because Katy Perry's one of the new ones, a Blake. There's a Randall I would take, or a Randy, because of Randy Jackson. Did you know he played fill-in bass for fucking Journey? Randy Jackson did, I swear to God. Like, later in Journey's tour, he played bass for them. How funny is that?
Did you know Jermaine Jackson has a son named Your Majesty?
That's cool. That's sick as fuck, dude.
All right, back to Vaush and his ponytail.
But yeah, he's a leftist guy. He's big on like Twitch and shit like that, I'm pretty sure. But he mostly just talks politics. He's reactionary.
He's got a big following.
He's a pussy about comedy for the most part, and he's good at two things according to him, and that's public speaking and non-monogamy.
And nailing Bush.
He at all times in his life is 2 hours away from banging a fat chick. All right.
All right.
Where does he live? Where does this guy live?
I don't know. I'm guessing California.
Yeah, or somewhere.
Would be my guess.
Somewhere fucking gay. All right. Let's get back to it. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get through all of this. It's 6 minutes. It's 6.5 minutes long, dude.
Just let it ride out till he gets to... Okay. He says something about Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, once we get to D&D. All right.
Yeah, it's a lot of meat.
Your entire personality gets taken over by this shit. Go look at all the old skeptics on YouTube, and now look at where they are. Some of them jumped ship. And Godspeed for those people, but a lot of them are literally just living avatars of like seething copium. Now they just they're just so full of hatred and disgust and fear. It takes over their whole personalities. You've met people like this, right? Like in real life, Like take me for example.
I bang Bush. I bang pussy.
Sounds like a fake drug.
That's what,
and like a
I get the big bucks, so I
can
go.
He's bad on the copium.
Did you drug me with copium?
What do they call it? Euphoria?
Whatever the case may be. But if you met me, if we just talked, like
I'd bang your girlfriend.
I don't have to talk about politics.
If she
there
was
are other
like
interests
300
that
pounds.
I have, Now, all of my interests have an underlying political bent, but I don't need to share that with everyone. I can talk about anime or video games. I can talk about like TV or like animation. There are a lot of nerdy interests that I like. I like Dungeons and Dragons. There are a lot of things that I like.
I just want to say, listen, I know this is low-hanging fruit, but honestly, like role-playing games, unless it involves lube or you're on stage, I don't know. Did you ever play D&D?
My friends were into it and played. I never could, just because of how long it took to like come up with a character and all that shit. It'd be a 45-minute process just to get your character, and then you'd just be like, "So what are the rules?" And they're like, "There aren't really any rules. You can do whatever you want." I'm just like, "But that's the point of games, is to have fucking rules. Like I need rules to form my." Like, otherwise, I just want to... Can my character just get high and be passive? Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, dude, I'd want an audience, too. Like, well, like, you're wearing... do you have to wear outfits and shit?
Somebody has done that. I mean, if you take it super seriously, I guess you can roleplay. But whenever he said all his things have an underlying bend to them, I wanted to pause and say, my dick has an underlying bend to it. Because it's true. Apparently they came up with a word for that and like a medicine and everything. I mean, I don't think my curvature is prominent enough to need my prescription, but...
Oh, well, fucking Bill Clinton. Like Bill Clinton's got a bend.
I bet
Bill Clinton's got a bendy cock. So.
I bet you this motherfucker's never even played through a full campaign. He probably like gets peer pressured into joining his work group's fucking Final Fantasy League and then just Googles good pics.
Okay, all right. This is when he starts talking about comedy. Not his wheelhouse.
Too. I used to be big into metalworking and stoneworking, actually. I'd take these classes when I could back in high school, and it was a lot of fun.
Jack White is a furniture maker.
That sounds like the lamest kid in all of high school. What do you do? Oh, I go. I can't hang out Wednesday night. I have woodworking class.
Nerds.
I have to learn how to weld. No, I don't want to do it as a career. It's just cool. I like the fire. Like
that's quite cool. It's very Conan the Barbarian.
He's like one of those weirdos that
builds swords.
Pursues the career of verifying celebrity signatures. Like he's one of those fucking weirdos that's just like, yeah, I've studied. I know what Frankie Sinat's fucking Johnny Hancock looks like, and that curvature ain't him. All right.
Hiking and outdoors work. There's a lot of stuff that I can talk about. And if you met me, and we weren't talking about politics,
that's called being homeless.
Talk about. That's not what happens to some people. Some people's entire personality just gets consumed by this desperate hatred or fear, or insecurity.
Ding, 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 ding.
And that's why they
I will say he is describing every comedian.
Yeah, he is.
And that he kind of gets it.
Yeah.
He kind of gets that.
They're consumed by envy.
I'm not going to lie. That's most
consumed
of us.
by fucking envy.
You can hate your hero if they take something from you.
Yes. I'm gonna figure out a way to monetize my insecurity.
And be hyperbolic, so when people see it, they're like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Can't be funny. Because a conservative can't just tell a joke. Okay. Every joke has to subtly or overtly indicate an underlying contempt for a group of people.
All right, this is where it fucks up, and this is what I wanted to talk to you. Especially, I wanted Hugo too to be here too, but we know conservative comics. Most of them, first of all, they don't talk about their politics on stage.
They're scared to.
Two of
them. They know it'll most likely backfire, at least amongst the comics.
Two of them kind of do. One of them is more of a libertarian, and one of them is full on MAGA, and those guys are both very funny. The rest of them eat shit.
Yeah.
I think you know what.
Yeah, I know. I think.
Which ones you would pick? Which ones would you go see?
Oh, definitely.
Or which ones have we seen together?
No, I think I know who you're referring to for both of them. But
one's one of my favorite comics. Well, pretty much my favorite comic. He's a libertarian.
In our scene?
Yeah, he's a libertarian.
I think he wears glasses.
He's very Norm Macdonald-ish.
Yeah.
Yes, very
dark. Very dark.
Yeah, it seems a nice guy. The other one,
no, I know
other one's full on MAGA, and it's still very funny.
Yeah, no, but even they don't really talk politics. They might make a little thing here and there, but like, even them, it's not really much of a thing.
Yeah, in fact, there was a guy at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club that got fired for Facebook posts, not for fucking like anything other than like it was the crazy shit that he was posting on Facebook. But on stage, I looked him up, and it's all like, my wife won't let me drink beer. His name's Mud Flaps.
That's sick.
Yeah, dude, he has like fucking massive mullet, like a hardcore mullet.
This quarantine has made me consider stage names so much. I've never really thought of one, but it's just like, what? Gabe Choir, what is that?
That's a good name, though.
I know. I wanted to go by Gabriel when I started out here, but
yeah, well,
there was a Gabriel that was already doing that.
Gabriel?
So I decided to just take
If it's the Gabriel I'm thinking of, I don't think you have to worry about
it.
That Gabriel's going to fly. It's just a matter of time.
It was mainly because I didn't want to hear the name at Mike's and freak out for a second thinking that I was up next and didn't think about it. That was honestly... Because, like, he went up first at the first mic I did, and I didn't even sign up because the list was to, like, 12, and it was sign up, and I didn't know how mics worked, so I was just like, oh, that's full. I guess I'll watch to see, like, the caliber of talent. And, like... and then,
you're like, oh, I'm going to be the greatest comic in Vegas.
Well, more, she calls him up there, and I just hear Gabriel. My heart just goes, because I was like, I was freaking out. It was weird. And then, yeah, and I saw that, and I was like, okay. And then I think up next, or maybe it was third, was Hugo, and I was like, fuck, there are some really good people.
Yeah.
Because I was dying, dude. I was like, this motherfucker is... I was mad at how good he was. I mean, I was also like, I want to be his friend now. But
do you think Nick DiPaolo's funny?
I think he's all right, yeah. I haven't watched that much Nick DiPaolo other than just him being guest on shit, but, like...
Here's how it works. This is how it works.
I know he says rather crazy shit.
Yeah, I know. See, that's what I was saying. Like, if they bring their yeah, I know. But that would only cater to that specific audience that lives inside of that bubble of reality.
Yeah.
Where Benghazi is a real thing. So if you're making jokes about Benghazi,
You know who's
Most
talented?
people aren't going to get those jokes.
You know who's talented? Ben Stiller. All right.
Major talent, Ben Stiller.
Zoolander. Classic. All right.
Classic. Zoolander 2, even better.
Was there a second Zoolander? Oh, yeah, I forgot. That came out like 2 or 3 years ago, didn't it? It was like recent.
Major talent.
It was like a 10-year difference between those, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
it was a long... They were reaching for shit.
I love Blue Steel, though. That first one
It is weird that they keep remaking good movies. Like, why can't they just try to remake shit movies to make them good?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I saw somebody post that. I mean, it was, of course, a meme. And I was like, that's a great idea, though, because all they do is ruin good movies.
Yeah.
But apparently, and here within the next, like, year or two, if movie theaters are still around, you're going to have a fucking superhero. It's going to have a cape in it in order to get into a theater. Because Marvel
I ain't going to see it.
Really
you
all
can take that cape and wipe their ass with it.
But then again, watching a Marvel movie at home, unless you have a huge-ass TV, I would say 80% of the fun, except for fucking dorks, is the cool explosions.
Oh, God, you know what's on? Real quick, though? You know what's on right now?
What?
On Tubi? Because you don't have cocks, though. A Deadly Adoption.
I just have one. One cock.
A Deadly Adoption. It's the Will Ferrell fucking Lifetime movie. It's fucking amazing.
He
plays it straight.
Early in Will's career?
No. It's after. It's when he's famous. He did it in the middle of being... Him and Kristen Wiig did a Lifetime movie. They played it completely fucking serious. And all the way until the end, they played some generic rock and roll song from the 50s, but it's not like a real song. It's clearly made up. It's like, we're rocking and dancing and rocking, and then they just start dancing. Like fucking Footloose style,
but
like the Go-Go's. They're like,
is it your average like
it's
Lifetime movie?
It's
Will Ferrell's the scumbag. Kristen Wiig plays adversity.
No. Her Kristen Wiig loses a baby, so they get a lady to be pregnant.
Played by
stuff.
Amy Poehler.
But it turns out that she's a stalker who kidnaps their other child and faked the pregnancy.
Oh.
There's a scene where he's riding in a speedboat trying to catch them, and he's just like this. He's got this serious look on his face with this fucking killer mullet, like Superman mullet. It's just this redhead Superman. Great. Oh, dude, just to do that is brilliant.
I hate when people try and like because he got so famous and successful. I think Will Ferrell's hilarious. Always has been.
Major talent. Major talent.
The kid's got balls.
Major talent.
Kid's got balls.
Okay. Every conservative joke, there can't not be that element in the conservative joke. It has to have that. They have to be shitting on somebody. And the person they're shitting on is usually a group of people who don't really deserve it, you know? There's a pretty big difference when it comes to, like, historically, the relationship between, like, humor and reception, between attacking people...
Cumtown.
Exactly.
Has... bits about mentally Down syndrome pickup artists.
They literally, Cumtown's 80% of their bits come down to retards or gays. Like,
exactly.
Like,
no,
they'll be making fun of a foreigner,
Garrett
and
was
then
complaining
he'll
about the
turn
gay
out
thing.
to be retarded or gay.
I've been listening to a lot more of it, and that's on purpose.
That's totally. Oh yeah.
That's absolutely
absolutely.
We are going. This is the dumbest fucking shit. Dude, they're the most offensive fucking comics alive, and the entire fucking joke is how offensive it is. The whole thing is punching down.
Yeah, but one thing I wanted to know is whenever he says conservative jokes, does he just mean all jokes at the expense of minorities are all, like, offensive?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Like, jokes in literally, like, bitches don't deserve to choose whether or not they have an abortion, you know, and here's a joke about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's
yeah, I know. Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Just saying
like,
conservative jokes.
If you believe that,
it's weird.
If you believe that, odds are you're not getting up on stage and doing that. You're gonna do Christian clean humor.
And even if that's true, and even if like most comics will approach things with their political view, I would say it's probably more common now than ever. But like, they don't ever say what party they side with. I mean, it's usually like clear based on their opinion.
Yeah.
Unless they're being satirical or whatever, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, very few comedians are just like, I'm a Trumper, and then are like, you know, here's why I'm going to vote Biden, unless it's now and they're on Twitter and trying to...
Yeah.
I guess now that shit is kind of happening.
He may be just judging this based on Steven Crowder. And Steven Crowder...
Hilarious. I don't know.
No, Steven Crowder is a horrible human being. He did like his stage act though is super clean. Is exactly what I'm talking about. He like the one joke I heard was it was like people who leave dream catchers on their fucking rear view mirror. He's like, I don't think that's a smart place to take a nap. It's like, but like on his show, no. But this is the he stole this bit from Tom Green. He also stole a bit from Opie and Anthony. He took Hannah Gadsby. He took Hannah Gadsby's rape story from the net, and he added a laugh track. Now that's funny, but that's funny. But he stole that from Opie and Anthony. But one thing he did that wasn't funny.
A lot of people have done that.
They tried to undercut workers that like immigrant workers that like labor that hang out. So they would go up to the people that pull up. And then they would say, well, he'll do it for 100, I'll do it for 75. And then another time they pretended to be looking for work, and they got a bunch of Mexicans on there. Then they stopped halfway through and then yelled out the window, we're going to call ICE on you, motherfuckers. And then, so that's what he's talking about. But that's not comedy. That has nothing to do with what we do.
Did you ever watch Later Squad?
No, what's that?
It was, what's that dude? Jeff Tremaine, the guy that produced and started Jackass. He did a show with the kids from Odd Future. And it was more of them doing bits than, like, stunts. You know what I mean? But it was very similar. But they did one where they dressed up in business suits. And then they went into, like, street corners or where, like, laborers would line up to try and get jobs for the day. And they would have suits and, like, resumes and files and suitcases, and then when a car would drive up, they'd just run at them with the resume and just be like, please hire us, please hire us. And then they ended up getting chased down the street by these people because they were, I mean, it is pretty offensive. It's a hilarious bit at the same time. They ended up being like, it's TV, we're just trying to be funny. And, like, they didn't get their ass kicked, but they were straight up, like, running from motherfuckers.
Well, they stole that one bit.
That's a ballsy bit.
Steve Crowder stole that from Tom Green. Tom Green nearly did get killed because he was called Undercutter's Pizza. He would follow a pizza fucking place, and he would come in with all the ingredients in like a fish tackle box, and then he would make the pizza right there in front of the guy, and then one of the guys that freaked out who was getting the pizza delivered to him goes, I don't know what this is, I don't know who you are, and he picks up a hammer, but I want you off my fucking property right now. And so it's like, okay, and just bolted out of there.
You know who stole a lot of bits from Tom Green? Bam Margera.
Oh, God.
Who did. But luckily Tom Green got it in the end because he aged way better
than
Margera looks.
Oh, he didn't become like an alcoholic?
Gnarly bad. Like, Tom Green looks all right. He's looking healthy.
He's a healthy dude.
Yeah.
He's a fanatic about the pandemic.
He was on Celebrity Apprentice with Dice.
Oh, yeah, no. Dice was on his original. He did pretty much one of the first podcasts. He did it in his basement, but the equipment was too expensive. It cost too much electricity. And Dice would come on, and you can get it on YouTube. And those two together, dude, should be in a movie, man. They're so fucking good together. They're like such a great comedy team. Like, Tom Green is the straight man, and Dice just trying to they go up to Paris Hilton and shit, and he's like trying to get Paris Hilton to fuck Tom Green, and he's just fucking. He's like, you're acting like a fucking dweeby.
That thing that came out, it's like a mini series that Paris Hilton's been playing up her dumbness all along because she knew that's what. Like, apparently she's a well-read, like, articulate girl, and that's hot shit.
Wouldn't be surprised.
It's like a whole mini series following her around, and what I saw, she does, like, she sounded a lot less dumb.
Yeah.
than I remember her. But I wouldn't be surprised, because that's what she was being painted as. She might as well just fucking lean in it, you know? All right.
Above you and attacking people below you. It's the reason why no one really gives a shit about, like, the idea of making fun of, like, the president Unless you're a conservative. I'm sorry, normal people don't give a shit about the idea of making fun of a president. By the way, liberals
we don't make fun
of
of the president because it's played out.
Obama was in office. I don't like this.
It's also
idea
frightening.
That it's like a partisan one-off thing.
Making fun of the president is hack.
It's not just hack. It's fucking scary because people don't. That's some dark shit. The fact that he exists is dark.
This isn't late night.
Dude,
we don't do that.
Yeah,
shit.
That's hack. Fucking woke comedy is the new hack. Sorry. Go check out Kate McKinnon sometime if you don't believe me.
Yo, bitch. You know who I was saying doesn't like him at all?
What?
But like the guy, I don't want to say his name in case he for some odd reason doesn't want it, but the one that doesn't like this dude at all.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about. Yeah. Why doesn't he like him?
Because of and because he's a pussy about comedy. For the most part, he agrees with a lot of his views about like.
I agree with all of his views. I just don't like intersectionality and cisgender
and he hates his
and all
personality,
that stuff.
But voice-wise, they have a very similar talking.
Oh,
voice.
And they got a kind of a. Oh, he's got kind of a beard too.
Yeah, they don't.
You think he has a little professional jealousy?
I wouldn't. No.
Doesn't he twitch?
Yes, but like he's not douchey on it. Like,
yeah.
He never brags about being 2 hours away from pussy at any moment.
Yeah, he's got.
So like.
Well, listen.
He's set up.
Wait. I like this. I want to hear your reaction to this joke. I don't want to. Well, I don't want to make him uncomfortable, but I've seen his girlfriend. She seems like a very. I'm sure she's very nice and intelligent, and she's very physically attractive. She's a very physically attractive young lady. Vaush's girlfriend makes Andrea Dworkin. No, hold on. Vaush's Dworkin.
Who's Andrea Dworkin?
I know, but that's the joke. The joke is that you're not going to know who these people are. Vaush's girlfriend makes Andrea Dworkin. Oh God, how did I say this before? Vaush's girlfriend. Looks like Vaush's girlfriend looks like Andrea Dworkin, and then you say, "Who's Andrea Dworkin?" I say, "Well, let me say this: Andrea Dworkin makes Valerie Solanas look like Gloria Steinem." And then you go, "Oh."
Word. I'm guessing they're all fat.
No, Gloria Steinem's hot. Valerie Solanas is interesting, but she shot Andy Warhol.
Is that a conspiracy or like
no? She shot Andy Warhol.
Convicted and everything.
Well,
I didn't know if
psychiatric.
I didn't know if it was Courtney Love style.
She was a stalker, but she did it as an act of feminist act. She wrote a book called The Scum Manifesto.
You think Courtney did that shit, right?
No.
No?
No, dude. You ever seen her on Howard Stern?
What?
Dude, she can't.
I think Courtney Love
did
makes.
That shit.
or it wasn't Kurt.
She makes me look like Vaush.
I don't think Kurt Cobain killed himself then.
I think
there's a lot of bad shit against her.
I think a guy who wrote a song called "I Hate Myself and I Want to Die."
I'm not saying he didn't have it in him. But one thing he did have in him was like way over a lethal dose of heroin. He was on that much heroin and was able to shoot himself in the face with a shotgun.
If she could get away with that, then I could get away with robbing a bank.
I think you could if that's the case. Because I mean, it would help if you were a fucking pretty celebrity blonde bimbo, but. Unfortunately, you're missing 3 of those things. You're just a bimbo. All right, back to the vid.
There were liberals who would make jokes about Obama during the Obama presidency. Conservatives don't really do that about Trump, like ever. It just has to be venerant idealization. Like they can only worship, you know? They can't like critically examine things they like, which is another component of being funny, by the way. Punching up is easy for most people.
Self-analysis.
Can hurt. Like if you're just making fun of like a homeless pregnant woman, like any humor value, and there can be jokes made there, and don't get me wrong, but
if a homeless chick gets pregnant, do you think she panhandles like in Beverly Hills just for the school district?
You think she charges the baby rent? Nailed it.
I'm a commie.
You think no, that's definitely happened. I was gonna say, do you think a homeless person has ever like put a fake pregnancy belly and used that to get? But that's definitely happened.
Steal steaks.
To just get extra donation, dude. People see a pregnant broad and they want to throw some shit at her.
You ever think a fetus has ever stuck her hand out of a vagina and stole like candy? Stop it.
It would require her like breaking through like a bunch of layers of stuff. And the mom would have to be like crowning Like, the baby would have to have arm strength that isn't just... There's a lot that goes into it. You wouldn't understand.
I don't really know how sex works.
You don't get babies. It's okay.
I got a homeless chick pregnant.
What was his name? Got him. That doesn't make any fucking sense. God, dude. I got someone pregnant. Really? What's his name? That's a pretty funny bit.
It's good.
But any humor value is kind of undercut by this weird feeling that you're just taking pleasure from the suffering of another less fortunate person. But that's every conservative joke. That's every joke they tell. It's always that. It's always these groups. And they get away with it.
Although, hey, real quick, Team America is one of the funniest films ever made. It's also one of the most effective pieces of pro-neoconservative propaganda ever made.
Because they get through across...
It was an argument. It was an argument for the invasion of Iraq. I mean, dude, one of the funniest bits is they were climate change deniers, and one of the funniest bits they had was Al Gore's Man Bear Pig.
Are Matt Parker and Trey Stone actually climate change deniers?
Well, they say that they've changed their mind. They did a whole episode where they apologized to Al Gore and all this shit, but I think too little, too late.
Really? You think they're that crazy?
I think that they got made fun of in their personal lives for it.
No, I mean, but you think they really honestly believe that?
They did believe that.
God, I don't think I'm crazy enough to be successful, dude. Fuck. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
We're crazy enough to be moderately successful.
It makes sense. Successful. I can see how climate change is fake. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. I've seen basketball. I get it. All right.
There's gonna be such a backlash if Biden wins that people are gonna fucking go back into their holes. I seriously believe that. It is gonna be weird.
If Biden wins,
these Nazis the Nazis didn't win.
I'm going to be incredibly surprised.
I'm going to be incredibly surprised, too, because I don't really have a lot of faith in the system. But I did vote today.
You don't think it's going to get dumped in the trash by a corrupt mailman?
Did you hear about that? They busted a fucking mailman doing that.
It was real?
Yes.
I figured that was all bullshit.
He had 9 garbage bags in front of his fucking house, the fucking idiot.
Oh, I thought
that motherfucker is going to... I hope he goes to prison for fucking 20 years for that shit.
I figured that was fake news. I didn't think that shit was real at all. That's really funny, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He was just like, I mean, this is where I put my leaves when I rake them.
There was a guy on David Hewlett's page where I was making fun of where I posted a political fact about this conspiracy theory. There's a conspiracy theory about how Biden murdered SEAL Team 6 to cover up the fact. And this guy goes, why don't you go tell the fucking family members from SEAL Team 6 about that? Tell them what? That you have a you want them to explain your masturbation fantasies for me?
Why don't you stop bringing in the innocent family of SEAL Team 6?
No, what if that guy was a comedian? What if that guy was a comedian? He's like, I want to dedicate my set to the murdered members of SEAL Team 6. And then he pours his drink on the fucking ground.
Gone too soon. So what's the deal with Bumble, right? The dating apps are just too
That's
much.
literally how a conservative set would go. That's literally like, what's up with dating?
I think
that's how conservative comedians sound.
I think honestly more than even minorities, because I would say for the most part most comedians have left-leaning views, especially successful ones. Even if they don't express them at all, you know what I mean?
Well, I think he has this is very weird. He has a conservative attitude when it comes to like the arts. I think like Norm Macdonald's a conservative guy, but he has a very left wing on stage. Not his politics, but his attitude about
towards the arts.
Yeah, like towards like anti-corporate. Like he goes to a roast and does clean jokes. Yeah. Like that's a very liberal attitude.
He's punk rock as fuck.
And that's how you got to be if you want to be creative. And that has absolutely nothing to do, and that means you can't have rules like political correctness. That's why Nick Mullen is a fucking genius. I can't believe I knew the show existed, but I barely listened to it. I've been listening to it a lot lately. That's fucking shit. I can't believe the shit he comes up with.
It's hilarious, right?
That's amazing.
It sucks.
And SNL, I can't believe SNL stole 2 bits.
That is crazy.
I don't know if we should have that separate. Dude,
did you know when you audition for SNL, you have to
sign over all your fucking shit.
Everything you use in the audition, they can, and like Dan Soder was talking about it when he auditioned. He did a character, because like you come up with your own sketches more or less, and it's like a celebrity in this situation or this celebrity mixed with it, that kind of thing. And like literally they used one of his bits the next week.
Shit.
The week after he got denied, they were like, no, we're good. They used one of his bits. How much would that hurt, dude? I would never watch SNL again. Oh. I would be like, you fucking pricks. Like,
they did it to Tig Notaro.
I mean, yeah, you sign it knowing that. I didn't know.
No, they didn't. She didn't sign over shit. They just stole a fucking short film she made and made a film version of it. And Opie and Anthony and Jim Norton thinks that they stole some of his Chip Chipperson stuff.
Word.
Yeah.
Shake that a little bit. It's dying, Daddy.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta get through this.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're only 4 minutes in.
The people they're punching down on aren't actually, like, down, you know? Oh, I make fun of trans crazies, whatever, but that's because the whole media is obsessed with trans whatever, and they're actually all pedophiles, so it's really like I'm punching sideways at pedophiles.
Well, if you're punching sideways, that would make you a pedophile.
Is he saying trans people are pedophiles?
No, he's talking about how conservatives justify making fun of trans people. Conservatives don't really make fun of. Well, the one comic we were talking about, but I don't think he's really. I think he's just a libertarian. I don't know if that's kind of right wing, but he said he was voting for Biden.
Well, I think a lot of just people that aren't trying to use their platform to virtue signal at all, more or less. You know what I mean? The people that are in comedy to make jokes despite being dark probably don't like liberals or whatever because of how much of a pussy they can be about things that are jokes.
Yeah, but people who are woke comics on stage and stuff like that, and they're like, I can't make a joke about this, I can't make a joke about that. They're literally conservative. That's literally the definite. If you're at a party, if you're at a party and you're like, and you're not cursing at people and you're trying not to offend people, you're being very conservative.
They're gonna think you're a fucking narc. That's what it is.
Well, everybody thinks I'm a narc.
Fucking narc. It's weird. I think, is that why you started wearing tracksuits all the time? You're like, undercover cops don't wear tracksuits. That's not a thing. That's never been done.
I grew a mustache just to lean in.
I know. That's one cool thing about the job I got is that whenever it gets cold again, I can grow my mustache back. Because, like, a couple of the restaurants I was looking at, they were, like, clean-shaven. Is their policy.
Dude, I don't know. See, I don't know if the thing about Amazon is they don't give you a lot of time. They put you on these timers, and I had to do that. So I don't know if you have time to think. But if you're, like, when I was at Caterpillar, dude, I wrote so much material.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because all you have is your brain.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't mind, like, work like that where I have to think for 15 seconds and then do a job. Man, you can take my body, but taking my mind, that starts to suck.
Or something like that, you know? Or they say, like, well, it's not punching down on black people because black people are, you know...
good fighters.
Unduly privileged by affirmative action and all these systems that have been...
They're from the streets.
Speaking of black people and good fighters, did you see that clip of that UFC fighter? He did, like, a crazy spinning back kick on this dude. Like, he did, like, a kick like this, and the guy, like, grabbed his leg, and the dude turned around, used the momentum of the guy holding his leg, jumped up, and just, like, spun kick him square in the fucking face and knocked the dude clean out. It was like some video game shit. It was crazy. But that's what I like to say. Like, talk all you want about punching down, but a lot of fights have been won with ground and pound.
Been put in place to infantilize them and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And if you get called out and you say it's dark humor, which, and credit to the ContraPoints video, by the way, which ignores the fact dark humor isn't just being shitty at people.
Okay, here's where he's really
wrong. Dark humor is humor which usually attempts to sympathize with the conditions of misfortune.
Wrong!
Often misfortune you've experienced.
I looked this up. You can Google this. The origins of dark humor came from an anthology by Andre Breton. It was banned in France, but then it was republished, I think, in the 40s or 50s.
I thought you meant Andre Breton was a band in France. I was like, word, what they play?
That's a good name. That's a good band name, actually. It was a
ska band. They were early on their lines.
But they had a in there is the Marquis de Sade, and the Marquis de Sade was all about punching down, like literally sticking your fist inside of children and like hammering nails with them. Like,
I
dude,
mean, we're making fun.
You want to talk about, dude, Matt, just every fucking scene is rape, and he writes it in this highfalutin, like, very funny prose, and that's dark humor. There's no rules about there's no specific rules about dark humor. Dark humor is just simply dark gallows humor. It's just jokes about abortions and shit like that.
Galileo? I'm sorry, I'm doing that. What was I going to say? Well, it's like this. You say it's making fun of, like, people, but you take making fun of people's tragedy, but, or you could say taking people's tragedy and making fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Marquis de Sade got off on it.
But he was all just like, listen.
He got sexually excited from murder.
Listen,
like
rape is a punchline.
Rape is not just a punchline. Rape is jerk-off material.
Rape? That would just be so funny. What kind of setup would make it rape, like just the word rape, any sort of kind of clever punchline? Like,
I've been saying for years there should be, like, instead of a weed comic, a 420 comic, there should just be the rape joke comedian, and he has like the leather mask and shit.
You've never seen that thing about the dude in South Africa? It's like his whole thing. I think his name is like Basket Mouth or some crazy shit like that. But his whole thing is just like rape. Like, it's totally cool.
Okay.
Like, probably if you Google rape comedian or like African rape comedian, it will definitely come up. And it's got a weird name. They did a whole little docuseries.
It's a fucking genre, a subgenre of comedy is African rape comedy.
Well, they did a whole like docuseries that was directed by the guy who directed the Sacha Baron Cohen movies and did the filming for that, and it's about dangerous comedy.
Comedy, yeah, Larry Charles.
Yeah, and like, and that was probably the funniest one. The worst one was the one about dudes in the military, because it was all just like hack, try hard, shock bullshit. And like, it was so bad. It would just be like,
it was a Borat where he's like, a woman run for political office. She got fifth place behind a cat and Vladimir the rapist.
It's true.
But not just make fun of disprivileged people, you know? Dark humor isn't just like for example, dead baby jokes, okay? Dead baby jokes, nobody really gets offended by dead baby jokes.
Did I tell you about the new roommate? He found out that
baby?
No, he found out that I do comedy, and was instantly like, "Oh, I love dark jokes. I love dead baby jokes," and just tells me terrible dead baby jokes.
He has a bunch of dead baby jokes?
I mean, he does. I probably heard the same one 2 times, and I couldn't even recite it because I don't care enough.
Oh, like why did the dead baby cross the road? Because somebody stapled him to a chicken?
No, the one I think the setup is like, how many dead babies does it take to do something?
I hate to break it to you, Vaush, but somebody probably had a baby die.
Yeah, and they wanted...
Dead baby jokes are fucking offensive.
Yeah. I tried mine at Dive. It worked all right. I hadn't done it in a while.
What? You have a dead baby joke?
Yeah, I did it... Well, I wrote it when I first started for, like, one of the first shows I got booked on. That was all, like, offensive humor.
Yeah.
And so what's the worst thing about a dead baby?
What?
Having to return all those diapers, right? That's an awkward trip to Walmart.
I thought you were going to be
like... You think the cashier figures it out halfway through? Like, this is a lot of diapers.
I thought you were going to say the aftertaste.
That's bad. That's so hack and I don't know. That's a Googled.
I'm not gonna do it on stage. I got one I made up though that I forgot to do for the Hodge twins. It's got nothing to do with dead babies.
Oh, okay.
You ever do a Tarantino on a chick?
What's that?
That's when you fuck her feet and scream the N-word.
Dude, honestly, I was thinking about that the other day. I was just like, I wonder if Tarantino's biggest fetish is feet yelling the N-word.
Fuck it up.
He just gets like googly eyes and like a Mr. Potato Head like smile and like tapes them to some girl's feet, and it's just like, yell the N-word at me, yell the N-word at me.
Blows his load on her feet.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna go make Kill Bill 7. All right.
Except for like wine moms, they're just like a 13-year-old's go-to, like I'm edgy, whatever. Dead baby jokes aren't really dark humor, you know. It's just like
they're dead babies,
edgy, you know. But if you want to go further than that, like rape jokes or whatever, rape jokes generally aren't dark humor, you know. There are some rape jokes that are dark humor.
No, it's light
Most
humor.
rape jokes aren't dark humor. They're just making fun of rape.
Well, not really, but
yeah. But shock value is not dark humor. Those are two different things. Dark humor has to be a little bit, you know, a little intelligent, a little introspective. But these are things conservatives can't do.
But so, that's literally not the definition of dark humor.
And then we complete the circuit when the conservative fully comes to terms with the fact that their comedy is terrible. They go and become a millionaire right-wing grifter demagogue.
Well, I think
the
more offensive a joke is, the better it has to be.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that like shock jock bullshit. I think that I would hope that he would consider, because whenever it comes to shock jock bullshit, you're not even really going for like laughs. You're going for people to go, oh, that's funny, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not even supposed to. It's not fully even humor. I mean, like I think the best advice I ever got was early on. I had like a good set somewhere, and one of the comics was like, Gabe, you're getting really funny. Like you've been writing a lot more, I can tell. And I was like, what's different? Like, was I not funny before? And he said, no, it just kind of seemed like you were just going for shock. And like him telling me that was everything I needed, because I would consider my comedy very dark. I make fun of homeless people and shit like that. Like, or at least I have jokes about homelessness that isn't like, they're dope. You know what I mean? So it's, I think that like the aspect of humor rather than just saying like trannies are gross.
Yeah, well here's my rape joke.
The darker the idea or the topic, the smarter it has to be.
It took me a year to come up with this joke.
That's a good way to put it.
I
would say.
So this girl I know, she had a whistle. I go, is that a rape whistle? And she says, yeah, Paul, it is a rape whistle. What happens is sometimes I'm out with a guy and I don't know, and if something comes up and a situation happens where I don't know if I can handle him, and what I do is I take this whistle and I blow it, and then my friends run over and hold him down while I rape him. So the joke is not on the rape, the joke is on society's expectations of who the victim is. So these jokes it's a lot more complicated than just saying.
My friends went over. I don't know if I've ever heard you fucking do that joke.
I told that joke a bunch of times. Logan loves that joke.
That's a funny, yeah. Did you have add on about like, I don't know what a rape whistle sounds like or something? There's somebody that has a really funny bit about seeing a girl with a rape whistle, and he's just like,
wait, what was that?
I feel like all the people that know what rape whistle sounds like are not the ones that you need, you know what I mean, are not the ones it's for.
I think that's the comic we were talking about.
Okay, probably.
Yeah, the more I said it, the stronger he got.
Yeah, that's the libertarian.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that. I'll tell you after how I knew that. Because one time he took a stance of being pro-gun, anti-abortion.
Oh, he said he voted for Gary Johnson at one point on stage.
I didn't.
Stephen
it's
Crowder,
a setup. He has
when he fluffed out of comedy. See Dave Rubin. We saw some of his
Dave
delicious
Rubin is a bad
comic.
Dave Rubin is not a comic.
Incredibly painful to look at, you know? That's the conservative circuit, you know? Conservative comedy is just like a roundabout circuit that leads people to getting propped up by billionaires to repeat the same talking points over and over and over again, sort of with the veneer of comedy, you know?
You know what? I don't like...
Well, then they're not comedians, bro.
I don't like conservative comedy, but you know what I do like? Conversive comedy. Crowd work, right? It's great.
That's what Dave Rubin did. That's what he's referring to with the Dave Rubin thing.
I saw this clip of George Carlin talking about Dice and more or less just being like, I think he's going a little too hard on minorities. I don't think it's in good taste. I feel like if a lot of people saw that, they'd be like, what? Carlin would hate this shit. Which he would, because it's over the top.
I think The Day the Laughter Died is different than any other comedy album and anything he ever did. So I like Dice, but I got to stop this real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.